Welcome back, and I got a good one for you today from one of my favorite series of all time, Harry Potter. I also have this notebook like the Marauders map, which is really cool, so I write down a lot of notes in here. Doesn't really have anything to do about the review though, and my review is specifically about the movie Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I just saw this movie in theaters, which was awesome. I had never seen this movie in theaters when it had originally come out because I was just a little bit too young for that. I don't think I started going to the movie theaters until maybe the sixth one, the Half-Blood Prince. Maybe the Order of the Phoenix, but I think it was the Half-Blood Prince. I was reading the books too, of course, and I've read the books numerous times as well. So I'll probably do reviews on all of those and probably the overall series as well at some point. But this one's specifically about the one that I saw in the movie theater. The movie theater in Cedarburg, Wisconsin actually was having a Harry Potter festival for about 2 or 3 weeks and showing all of the Harry Potter movies on different days. We had originally wanted to go see The Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, but it didn't really work out because we ended up getting sick. And the Goblet of Fire ended up being shown on a Saturday night, and it worked out really well. We also wanted to see it because we just watched, my girlfriend and I had just watched Twilight, the Twilight series, which was my first time. She really loves that series. I found that series actually pretty good. I was really surprised by it, but it obviously has Robert Pattinson in it as main character, and he was in Goblet of Fire, so we really wanted to go see Goblet of Fire for just numerous reasons. The movie takes place in Harry's 4th year, and it starts just how all of the books and movies start, which is not in school, and it starts during their summer break. It was missing a few things from the books, just as how most of the movies are. I would have liked seeing done differently. I'm hoping that the series that's coming out that Max is going to do is going to be a closer adaptation to the books and also include a lot of the details that were missed or maybe overlooked during the original movies. The start of the movie shows Harry and the Weasleys and Hermione meeting up with Cedric and his dad, Cedric played by Robert Pattinson, and going to the Quidditch World Cup. The scenes were super cinematic that they did show, but they didn't really show a whole lot of the Quidditch World Cup, which was, I thought, a little bit disappointing. I think they could have shown the Quidditch game a little more, and I think they could have shown just the all the tent area and different magical people from all different places around the world. I think they could have shown that a little bit more, which would have been a cool dive into that it's just not people at Hogwarts. But the movie does start on a really big cinematic note, which was awesome to see in the theaters. The 4th movie in the series takes place back in Hogwarts for the most part and brings in 2 different schools to compete in the Triwizard Tournament. Harry gets into the Triwizard Tournament completely accidental, and not even accidental, but he gets his name put in there by someone else, which is pretty unfortunate for Harry that things always happen to him and bad things. And that actually pisses Ron off in this one because he's pretty jealous of Harry, and it creates some pretty funny moments in the movie where Hermione is in between them. And then the Triwizard Tournament has 3 main tasks, and it starts with the dragons and trying to get an egg from a dragon. That's going to be the clue for the next part. And that is a really cool scene, seeing the dragon and Harry trying to get away from the dragon and then getting to his egg. The dragon breaks free from its chain, which is crazy. I can't believe that the headmaster Dumbledore and all of the powerful wizards there weren't trying to stop them, because everyone in the Harry Potter world are trying to keep dragons under wraps, and letting the dragon out like that doesn't seem to be doing that. So it's a kind of odd moment in the movie that definitely doesn't line up with the books because Harry gets his egg super fast there. Cinematically is incredible to watch, and it was really cool to see the dragon scenes in the theater. The second task is they have to save someone that they love. Harry has to save Ron. Victor Crumb, who was another contestant and was a seeker in the Quidditch World Cup, has to save Hermione. Cedric has to save Harry's love interest, Cho Chang, and Fleur saves her sister. It's all interesting because everyone besides Fleur is connected to Harry. Those scenes are alright. It's not as exciting as the dragon scene or as exciting as the end of the movie, but it's a pretty cool task that takes place in pretty much the middle of the movie. Another thing that happens with the Triwizard Tournament is the Yule Ball, which that actually is really cool because of the production on that was a lot different than anything you see in Harry Potter. Everyone is dressed up, there's music. It's awesome to see something else besides just the normal studies and then fighting dark wizards that we normally have seen. It adds a different element to the movie that wasn't there in previous movies and is definitely lighter. The third task is through the maze, and the maze I also had some issues with. It wasn't quite as good as the books. The maze in the movie, the walls basically just closed in and that was all. Whereas in the books, there was a lot more creatures and different magical beings that you had to fend off as a contestant. So I would have liked to see that a little bit more, but the end then takes you to Tom Riddle's old house and Voldemort ends up returning. Cedric dies. The end ends up being really dark. It's an exciting, dark way to end the movie that sets up the future 4 movies. Goblet of Fire, unlike the first 3 movies, has a lot of different events that happen throughout the movie, whereas the previous movies had a lot of school and time learning with little events maybe, until the big event at the end, whereas the Goblet of Fire had a lot of pretty big events and then the big event at the end, but it wasn't so much bigger, it seemed, than the other events. So it was a pretty steady ride to the end with a pretty good climax. I would probably give the Goblet of Fire a 4 out of 5 stars. I think they could have done a little better job at some of the tasks, such as the maze, primarily. There are some other things I would have liked to see from the books, like at the start with Fred and George and Dudley. Probably Dumbledore being a lot more calm when he's reading off Harry's name from the Goblet of Fire. Overall, it was a really good adaptation of the book, and it was a really good movie that I'll be sure to watch again multiple times. If you haven't seen Harry Potter before, I would definitely recommend watching it. I would definitely recommend reading it. And if you do get the chance to see it in theaters, even if you have before, I would go see them again because it is such a fun experience and people were dressed up in the theater. You get the popcorn and everything that comes with the theater and the viewing experience. With that, I will see you at the next review.